Rappie! Alright, back from Christmas break and I'm about 5 kilos heavier. Hope all of you are as well. So, we've gone back to level 3 lockdown again, which means booze is illegal again over New Year's. In our country's festive period, people are pissed that they cannot get pissed. Things have developed further in the case of the old bad tweets of Pablo Matera and his naughty boys. Since the initial tweets came out, Matera has apologized publicly and roasted his young self as being immature and not representing his current values. They were also suspended for a match and Pablo was stripped of his captaincy. The Argentine Rugby Union completed their investigation this week and they've told Pablo and his friends to attend an educational course on discriminatory stereotypes and prejudices. It's hard to say when it's 30 degrees in this room. The players have been given further homework to make a video on the course after they're done for use in other training courses or something like that. I don't know. This sounds like workplace sensitivity training to me, and if any other workplace training is a guide, I would tell Pablo the captaincy is not worth it. Really, I don't see how this situation could have been handled any differently. He was caught saying bad stuff when he was 18 or 19 years old. He's apologized publicly. He was embarrassingly stripped of his captaincy and he was banned from playing for a match in the middle of a tournament. They might have done a lot better in that tournament if he and his friends were able to play. After that, what more can they really do? You don't want to have the guy never play rugby again because of something he said as a kid. It was terrible, but that's all you can really do. What is that? Look at that. Look at that. Okay, this is weird. A South African player that's still in the prime of his career and has lots of time to play for the Springboks has been bought out of his European contract with Ulster with 2 years still remaining, and he will be returning home to play for the Bulls. I know. I'm also still trying to figure it out. A small portion of Ulster fans are rightly miffed that he's leaving in the middle of a contract, especially after Ulster signed him from the Honda Heat and then had to support him through almost 2 years of injuries where he didn't even play for the club. Coetzee would be lucky to hit 50 caps before he returns home to South Africa. Okay. If there's one group of rugby fans that knows how these Ulster fans are feeling, it is probably South Africans. Let's see. Malcolm Marx, Cheslin Colby, Lothar Jager, Andre Pollard, Andre Esterhuizen, Dupree, Faf de Klerk, Kobus Reinach, RG Snyman, Franco Mostert, Koenie Oosthuizen, Andre Esterhuizen, did I say him already? Wiese. All of those players either left at the end of contracts, in the middle of contracts. They were either at the end of their careers or in the prime. Doesn't matter. We love those players, and when they leave, it hurts. We know how it feels, guys. The dog next door barking knows how it feels. Every time this happens, we get told this is the world of professional sport. So unfortunately, this is the world of professional sport. Also, the Bulls got some money. They've got Dwayne Vermeulen and Coetzee now. How will we beat them? Good news for European rugby fans is they'll still be able to see Marcel Coetzee play on their fields. It was announced last week that 4 South African franchises, the Bulls, who are apparently loaded, the Lions, my babies, the Western Province and the Sharks will all be playing in something called the Rainbow Cup against 12 of the Pro 14 sides. It'll be running from April to June, and the Kings and Cheetahs won't be joining the other South African teams. The Kings, unfortunately, did not survive the COVID pandemic, and the Cheetahs continued to be the awkward fifth wheel that Saru just cannot seem to fit in anywhere. The thing is, they make so many good players. They made Frans Steyn, Jannie du Plessis, Willie Leroux, Dwayne Vermeulen. I love the New Zealand teams. I love the Aussie teams. And the Jaguares have been a breath of fresh air in the last few years. Not playing against them anymore will be very sad. SANZAAR really pooped the bed in the expansion of the tournament. And also their fan engagement is terrible. They just don't seem to understand onlineness, the internets. Any YouTuber in the rugby community knows you don't touch any rugby footage filmed south of the equator because your videos will get nuked by SANZAAR lawyers from orbit. You can Google Best Tries 2020 for cool montages set to trap music and you wouldn't think that rugby is being played in the Southern Hemisphere. It's all Six Nations, Pro 14, Gallagher Premiership and Top 14 stuff. American sports have realized if you let people make montages of your best plays and stuff, It'll drive fan engagement. This is how young people watch sport these days. Get with the times, please. Okay, let's get to some actual rugby before I melt to death. For the games this weekend, can I suggest some Worcester Warriors versus the Harlequins on Friday night? And on Saturday, how about some Bayonne versus Power? It should be a nice match. And on Sunday, try some London Irish versus the Saints in the Premiership. Never mind, all those games have been cancelled or postponed due to COVID outbreaks. Luckily, there's like a bajillion other rugby games to watch. My plate will be filled with Currie Cup games this weekend, sprinkled in with some Pro 14 matches, since I need to start learning who these teams are we'll be beating next year. So that's that for 2020. The English rugby team look as good, if not better, than the 2019 version. France is now the model for rugby porn that you should watch in a dark room alone. Scotland, Italy, Argentina, and the Aussies all seem to be making slow progress to being better, climbing the rankings. New Zealand seem to have slipped back slightly from where they were before. They're still scary, but not that scary. Unfortunately, Wales seems to have slipped back a lot more, and they are not scary at all. And then finally, the Springboks went through the year unbeaten, still number one, and they did not concede a single try. Also, they did not score a single point. Anyways, bye. Love you. Mean it.